Y'all missed it, but yo, the Seahawks was going at the Cardinals yesterday. Now remember, on the left is Cliff Kingsbury during the draft a couple years back in his lavish Scottsdale crib. On the right is Pete Carroll after catching a dub against the Cardinals just yesterday. The Seahawks posted that to their account. Just chilling. How about you? I love it. Joy, you are Queen Petty. What you make of it?
I love that these accounts are allowing each other to be petty like this. Like, everybody understands if you take the L, you're just going to get dragged a little bit. It's all in good fun. Get us next time. This is funny, though. I mean, this is an iconic shot of the draft.
I'm an idiot because I low-key thought like it was real for a second. I thought of the Harvard joint and I was like, yeah, I was in Seattle maybe a month and a half ago. I thought it was real until I looked at Pete Carroll's laptop. Now, yeah, don't zoom out. Don't zoom out. Pete Carroll's laptop, you see the picture of Kyler Murray in the green outfit.
Oh, that's details. I didn't
Kyler
even
Murray
see that.
in the green outfit on Pete Carroll's laptop. There's a bunch of little details in there. I can't take you through them.
I'm focusing on the
nice
three phones.
crib.
What you need 3 phones for, Cliff? We know why you need two. It's like that.
Why you need 2?
You got 2, Shady?
I got 1. I got 1 phone. That's a nice crib right there, though.
Yeah, listen, Arizona real estate different. It's a little different than LA.
Oh, man. Yo, it's a great day that you only brought 1 phone to set. You got out of that, big dog.
Yeah, 1 phone.
You got out of that.
My bad, Shady. That's on me.
Well, what Lamar Jackson couldn't get out of was the fourth quarter because last night he collapsed in a major way. Ravens up 20-10 in the fourth. Lamar throws a pick late in the quarter, but then following the pick where the Giants go ahead, Lamar has a chance to do something for his squad, and he fumbles. Giants pick it up. Giants win. Giants go to 5-1. Now, let's start it off by acknowledging the Giants have to be somewhat of a good team. They have to be somewhat of a good team. They're 5-1. Last week in London, they beat the Packers. Then they fly back from London, they beat the Giants. They beat the Ravens. Keep in mind, 2019 MVP, the Giants just beat. The 2020 and 2021 MVP, the Giants also beat.
Yeah.
So the Giants right now are rolling not just regular opponents, they're rolling superior opponents, but it's all about Lamar Jackson because he's the one who's betting on himself this season, $250 million contract up in limbo. Joy, what's your concern level for Lamar?
I mean, you should be concerned. It's more overall for the Ravens, but you got to put that loss on Lamar Jackson yesterday. And Shady just said it in the last segment. One of the hardest things to do is to close people out. Little momentum changes throughout the game. This is at the NFL. People make adjustments. Like, you have to be able to counter that. You got to be able to answer that. You have to be able to close out games. And it's concerning that they've lost to good teams. Like, why are you losing to competition that you should be beating if you're really like that? It's confusing, it's concerning, and we were just talking about this last week, and it's happening again. Patterns are what really worrying me, especially during the middle of the season. You could start out a little choppy, okay, it's course correcting, but we're in week 6 now. This is a problem. And how do you fix this? How do you go from being able to build these big leads and then just blow them every time? I don't know what the adjustment is that they have to make.
2-5.
Yeah, she's right. I'm a little concerned. I'm not overly concerned, just a little concerned. I think, first of all, they're still number 1 in the AFC North.
Yes, sir.
Right, so that matters. I just think that he has to find ways to close games out. That last loss, that was a bad loss. And I love Lamar Jackson, Action Jackson. I give him a lot of credit for a lot of different things, but he has to be better than that. When we talk about franchise quarterbacks, now, he might have fumbled the ball, right? I don't think he fumbled the contract. I think he'll still get a big one. He has to finish out. Other franchise quarterbacks, they're not making them type of mistakes. Like, if it's a bad snap, get the ball, throw it away. Fight for another day or live for another day. No, don't try to make a play and throw it to not the number 1 wide receiver, not the number 2 wide receiver, not the all-time Ravens tight end.
To a fullback.
To a fullback. What's he going to do? He might bobble it up. It's like, so Lamar got to get back to locking in.
Yep.
Lock back in, bro. Please, because he'll start the game out solid, right? We get to that fourth quarter with the lead, and he loses it. You got to lock in.
Lamar Jackson, Dave, coming to you momentarily. I'm very concerned, but I'm not concerned about Lamar Jackson historical greatness. Not concerned about that at all. Lamar Jackson bet on himself to make more money. He bet on himself to make more money. He didn't bet on himself to not lose money. He bet on himself to make money. And thus far, he ain't making no real money. That's why I'm concerned. Lamar Jackson, you do not have to be the reason your team wins every game. But what you can do under no circumstance, what you cannot do under any circumstance, is be the reason your team loses a game. And yesterday, he was the reason his team lost the game. Against the Buffalo Bills, that loss, 20-20, 4th and goal, 2-yard line, interception. Bills take the interception. They get the ball at the 20. They go down and score. Bills win 23-20. Yesterday, 20-17, Ravens just iced the game out. Lamar Jackson, interception. Giants go down and score. Giants win the game 24-20. Lamar Jackson, you ain't got to be the reason your team wins, but you can't be the reason your team loses, particularly if you want that record-breaking $250 million fully guaranteed contract. It is okay to understand that Lamar Jackson is great in the context of quarterbacks. Right. But Lamar, if you are trying to do something that's never been done before and getting $250 million fully guaranteed, then you have to play in a manner that's never been played before. And yesterday was not indicative of that. Dave Hellman.
Can I ask y'all a question, put y'all on the spot a little bit?
Talk to me.
Y'all both played football at a high level. Is there ever a point where this compounds upon itself and in the fourth quarter of a game, you're just like, here we go again. Is this going to be like 2 weeks ago? This is 6 games. 3 times in 6 games, the Ravens had this thing in the fourth quarter and let it slip. Some of that yesterday, clearly on Lamar Jackson. Like more so than any of the other ones, this is Lamar Jackson. Against Miami, it was the defense. Against Buffalo, it was a little bit of both, right? Is there ever a point, because that's what worries me for the Ravens, do you ever get to a point where now the team doesn't believe in each of its components in the fourth quarter of a game?
You want to go first?
I'll say yes. I'll say there are the, here we go moments. There's one moment that typically happens in a game where you're like, here we go. Alabama, greatest college football program over the last 15 years since Nick Saban took over in 2007. Alabama's typically going to win every football game. Every opponent typically has a, here we go moment. It might happen in the first quarter. It might happen in the fourth. If you watch the game this past weekend, Alabama versus Tennessee, Tennessee was winning. I think it's 42-42. It's tied. Tennessee dominated the whole game. Dave, correct me if I'm wrong. I know you're an astute college football fan. Tennessee, I believe, fumbles. Alabama's Dallas Turner, number 15, picks it up, scores. Bama takes the lead 49-42. Yeah, here we go.
Point. Yeah.
There's that one moment in every game where in the back of your head you're like, it's happening. Tennessee goes on to somehow win that game, but that's how I would respond.
And I agree with him. Not the college thing, but more just like the pros. You're right. In 2013,
talk to me.
We were 4-12. What was that?
2012, 4-12. 13, 10, and 6.
And we were solid. We started out 4-1, I think, and then we lost all the rest of the games. The thing was, like, we turned the ball over a lot. I don't know, like, what players. I don't care what players, but if it was interceptions, if it was fumbles, we had a lot of those. And then by week 8, every time it's like it's getting close and shaky, it's about to happen. Turnover, fumble. So you are right about that. It happens.
That's my bit. Like, I think the world of Lamar Jackson, he's going to get his money. I keep saying that. Like, he's going to play well more often than he doesn't. The Ravens are going to have at least a decent record. Not to throw Kyler Murray under the bus, but like if Kyler Murray can get that contract, then Lamar Jackson. I'm just saying.
You ran over his legs.
You feel more comfortable paying Lamar Jackson or Kyler Murray?
This is Dave right here.
I'm just saying.
I don't want them under the bus.
Yeah. I'm a big fan. I'm like, not to say something disrespectful, but something disrespectful.
I mean, Lamar hasn't lost any money yet. This is a very, like you said, they're still first in the AFC North, which actually is really concerning to me because, I mean, Mike Thomas still doing his Mike Thomas thing. It doesn't matter who's out there. He's going to figure out a way. I'm not saying that they're going to be a playoff team or anything, but he still finds ways to win. The Bengals could get it together. Yep. I don't know what Cleveland's going to do, but eventually they're getting Deshaun
Let me ask you
back.
this, though, Joy. You said something brilliant that I got to ask you. If you are the Ravens owner and ownership, do you feel more or less comfortable paying Lamar Jackson on October 17th than you did paying Lamar Jackson on August 17th? Because we all sit here and say he gonna get his money. Sure, but we don't have to cut the check. Let me ask you, on October 17th, do you feel more or less comfortable paying him?
I don't feel great right now about anything that's going on with the Ravens. And if I'm the ownership or coaches, anybody in the organization shouldn't feel good about it. They should be winning these games. Like, you took the L. Like, that's how it goes. Like, you got to feel bad about that. You have to find a way to correct these things. But I think at the end of the season, I don't think he's lost any money. Even if they don't end up making the playoffs, I don't think he's lost any money. I just don't think that he's made any money so far. Like when you're talking about a contract like that, to your point, you've got to play like that to get an unprecedented contract. Now, there's still plenty of time left in the season, but to what we've all discussed, this is a concerning pattern. It's not an aberration. This is something that is happening week after week after week against good teams that you want to be beating if you are really contenders.
Dave, final thought, take us home.
And I'm concerned for that very reason. Like this looks like a pattern. Sometimes it's Lamar, sometimes it's not. But this is why it was important for Lamar to cut this thing off. And maybe we feel bad about his earning potential right now, but that's what happens when you don't have a deal and we're doing this every week.
Yeah.
Let the Ravens win 2 games in a row, Lamar Jackson ball out. Now it's a different conversation. Now it's like, man, can the Ravens even afford this guy?
Yeah.
You know, you got to take all of this stuff in stride and remember the big picture.
There was another former MVP that had a turnover with the game on the line that nobody's talking about that turnover. Patrick Mahomes. He throws a pick, game on the line, but Patrick Mahomes has $450 million in the bank. And speaking of him, the bank, he lost to that man, Josh Allen.